So I'm just still figuring this whole thing out, so y'all bear with me. I'm finishing up sending out an email to Founder Path. So big shout out to Nathan over there. I met him yesterday actually at a meeting, windsurf event actually, and he had mentioned that they would be interested in working with the team over at Organized AI for this event. So this is on August 6th. We're here in Austin, Texas. And I was just kind of taking a look at everything he's got going on. It's pretty cool, especially if you're, vibe coding a solution and you just need to get funding. So term loans, factoring agreements, and then you can request capital, click that. I'm sure this opens up so you got to create an account and do the whole thing. But this is dope. This is really dope. Very much useful for the right type of person, I'm sure. And I'm excited to have him at the event. One of the things I'm going to focus on for the Starter Stacks event is just kind of walking people through how to use Windsurf to build a tool. And in the previous videos, I was showing you guys Vibe Cleaner. So essentially something like this, but for vibe coders, kind of like this Clean My Mac, but simple, easy to use for non-technical types, people who aren't into hardware and that type of thing, but they're used to maybe the process of experimenting and then being told, hey, you need to delete, certain files because everything's kind of clogging up your system. So you just kind of, once you look at your system and you can see what's going on, a lot of times this doesn't mean a whole lot to everyone. It doesn't mean a lot to me. Well, it does, but I don't know a whole lot about what's going on here. I just know that I'm right on the edge of capacity, and that slows down my system, prevents me from doing certain things that I want to do, et cetera, et cetera. So it's important to be able to make tools that are accessible to everyone. Let me see if I can get a better view on this. So yeah, something like that. And so 492.5 out of 90, 494. I should be ashamed. I'm not. It's one of those things that I've just not gotten really good at, which is like hygiene on space and management and hard drive management, etc. It is what it is. I'm not the only one. But in pursuing things like Claude and things like Windsurf and MCPs and everything in between, right? I am in this spot to where I have to learn what all this means for the greater practice of me actually getting what I want out of it. I got logged back in. I was just logged in. I wonder why it's doing that. And so this is what Windsurf looks like. You open this up, got everything going on. I got the Vibe Cleaner docs, all the features, the CLI, the MCP. I'm just using the file system MCP here, and essentially going to use that. I already went through this in depth. I'm not going to do it again, but I do want to make this video just to kind of talk about what I'm doing. This is like a daily thing for me. This is what it looks like, is I'm playing around inside of Claude Code. Things are breaking, so pretty much all of my MCPs are showing up as broken right now, which is very annoying. This is new, so let's try to reload the configuration. You see how that worked? It actually worked. And I should have voice mode, but so it's installed, but it's not usable, which is really annoying. That's something that I definitely want. Anybody else using these connectors? So there's connectors for Asana. back in the day when I was working as an SEO for SPS. I wish I would have had something like this. What's crazy is I remember that environment, and I was kind of looked at as a person who was kind of crazy because of all the tools that I knew about or could kind of see coming. Lo and behold, I found out that the guy was invested in Jasper, also called Jarvis at one point, and I think it had a different name even before that. But essentially, being able to use those tools would have made life so much easier for 90% of the team. It was just too early, and I guess didn't make sense for him. I mean, that's why the old saying is, if you want to do it differently, get your own business, right? Do your own thing rather than complain about it. You can add your calendar. So this is kind of dope. I can add my GitHub. I've already got that added. I've actually got the calendar added too, but for some reason it doesn't show up automatically. But, well, maybe not. Let's see. It's not happening when I add it. Weird. So I'm connected to several, even InVideo. If you're familiar with InVideo, this is it's meant to be a AI video creation tool. So this is kind of cool. You can generate a video using a script. So this is all, and it's an SSE, which is a remote MCP server. This is all accessible to anyone, not just people like me who are spending, $100 a month on Claude. You could be getting access to this with the $20 a month plan and probably the free plan as well, as long as you start experimenting with these tools. But again, the caveat here is as soon as you start spending money on tools and adding things and installing, and then you got a whole list of applications and you're just trying to juggle it all, it does weigh down your machine. I've had my laptop here for, I think we're going on 3 or 4 years. So it's about time to upgrade it. But the point that I'm making is it takes a toll over time. So you want to make sure that you can get the most out of your machine, and that means having good hygiene on something like this. This one's kind of a whole situation with the tooling, and they got the cleanup section, the protection, performance, application, clutter, and whatever this is. Visualizing, taking up most disk space. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then they've got an assistant. I'm going to make it so that we're not as crazy and colorful with the UI. I'll probably just make it automatically follow a few rules. And again, if you know, I'm using file system, and file system just allows you, instead of saying that, let me just show you file system. File system allows you to move files around on your device automatically. So how it works, let me see where the tooling is. Here it is. Read the file, it can read multiple files, it can write files, edit files, create, move, list, search, get file info. It's got the list of allowed directories. It kind of looks like this with the args being where it has access to, essentially. That's for Docker. I haven't used it for Docker. I've got NPX. But yeah, this stuff is kind of hard to approach for even me when I was first starting, because, I see this and it doesn't mean a whole lot to me. It's really in the use of it. Once you start using it and you say, hey, I need to move this file here, or I want to clean up this thing, it just kind of turns into a whole separate thing. One of the things that I always found interesting is if you go to Model Context Protocol and you look for the official documentation here, and you just kind of look at examples. So it's gonna have a section. I haven't been here in a long time. I wonder if they actually have the same. Yeah, example servers. This is where I started, and this is the first one. I used all 3 of these. I still to this day use memory sequential. I don't really use fetch most of the time, and then file system. And then they've got other ones, GitHub. My introduction, this is gonna sound wild, but my introduction to GitHub was through the MCP server. So let that sink in. Puppeteer, Slack, Google Maps, there's just so much you can do. It's just a big tool set. At one point I had 300 different MCP servers attached to Cloud Desktop, which is problematic and just confuses the hell out of your large language model. But anyways, and now I've gone into this BMAD method and trying to learn how to agentically set up projects so that they can build themselves and self-regulate and test, and you have a whole team of agents that are orchestrated through this guy, and then be able to build my own version of this that's more geared towards vibe coders, which means in my case that everything's easy to set up and you still get a similar level of performance and functionality. Anyways, this is a quick video. I just kind of wanted to show you guys some of that. Trying stuff like this where it's just screen share. I'll do stuff where I'm walking around, running errands, etc., etc. I'm just going to keep experimenting, man. Appreciate you guys being here. All right, peace.